If you could tell a business owner one thing they should do every day, what would that be?
You got to spend a little time focusing on what your why is,
Yeah.
why you do what you do. Why did I get into this? Make sure you're staying
Yeah.
true to who you are and true to your roots.
Hey, everybody, welcome back to another episode of Behind the Brand, a podcast where we take a deep dive behind the brands and the businesses that we love. We believe that behind every great brand and behind every great business are great people and great stories. And so we like to introduce you to those people. And so I'm excited to introduce you to our guests, plural, today. We don't normally have two guests. We're excited about that. We have two people in the hot seats today, and that is Joel Gibbons and Nikki Petrous with Lewis and Knopf. Guys, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Yeah. So before we dive too deep, but first of all, my connection to you guys is through Nikki. We met, I think it was Grand Blanc Chamber.
Yeah.
Is that right? We met at Grand Blanc Chamber, and then I think you were at our golf outing in Shiawassee Chamber, and we've seen each other at Flint, Genesee, some networking events. And right off the bat, Nikki is just a warm, welcoming person, makes you feel like you've known each other for years. Matter of fact, I think it was the second time I saw her, I recognized her, but I didn't quite remember where we met. She came and gave me a big hug. I'm like, I felt really bad. I'm like, have I known this person longer? Because she made you feel like you've known each other. And I think, I have a girl that works for us, Morgan, who's behind the camera. She's like this. She has a way of making people feel like welcomed and appreciated. And so great quality. So Joel, she's doing good for you. And Nikki, good job.
Thank
You're
you.
the people
Appreciate
person. So before we dive, super deep into the business, why don't you guys each tell our audience a little bit about yourselves?
Great. So I guess I'll start.
Go
I'm
for it.
Joel Gibbons. I am a CPA. I'm a partner with Lewis and Knopf. I've been doing this for about 20 years now. Most of that time with Lewis and Knopf. From Fenton originally.
So you've been looking at numbers for 20 years.
That's right.
God bless
That's
you, my
right.
friend. God bless you.
Still enjoy it
Yeah.
every day.
That's incredible.
It's funny you say that though. I love the numbers. I do like that aspect of it, but really it's helping business owners grow their business.
Yeah.
It's
important.
what we do is that's the backbone of it. But what I really enjoy is the relationships with my clients and things like that. And that's really what drew me into this.
Incredible.
And real quick, because you mentioned with Nikki, so you met Nikki at a networking event.
Yeah.
I also met Nikki at a networking event from the Fenton Chamber, probably 6 years ago or so. Yeah. And instantly was drawn to her. She was working for, another place at the time. And just, over time, I just said, that's somebody that I need to have on my team.
Absolutely.
It's all about the people.
Got to have
and
good
who they
people,
are.
for sure.
Yeah. So
Guys
that's
are gonna
what
make
drew
me
it.
cry today. I wasn't gonna.
That
do
was the
it.
goal. We both talked about it
Yeah.
before. Like,
I'm a
make Nikki cry.
crybaby, so
Yep.
thank you. That means a lot.
Well, go ahead, Nikki.
It's your turn.
Well, my name is Nikki Petrous. I work for Lewis and Knopf CPAs. I'm their marketing and event coordinator. I can't even say marketing. I've just done a little bit of everything since I was 13.
That's what marketing directors do.
Yeah.
Marketing directors think they get to do marketing, but really it's just a term for you get to do a lot of things.
Yeah.
That when something new comes in, we're going to throw it to you.
Yeah. I'm the guinea pig, essentially.
Probably Morgan, the least she does is marketing.
Yeah.
She does everything else.
Well, I always make the joke. I mean, in anything that I've done, and now at Lewis and Knopf, I'm the people person. So I don't do the numbers. I always, when I go to events, I'm like, Joel's the number guy. I'm the people girl, right?
Yeah.
So people are always like, oh, you work in a CPA office. I'm like, kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah. But like, that's not really what I do. That's not
Yeah.
who I am.
Right.
I started working when I was 13, and I've done a little bit of everything. And I just found in just the path of where I've gone is people. I love people.
Yeah.
I love people. I like relationships. I genuinely care about people. And so I just really love to give back. I have like a giver's heart.
And that shows. I mean, that shows in how you approach things and how you approach people. And we're going to talk a lot about that today.
Yeah.
In terms of the numbers, when I started my company 11 years ago, when I got to the point where I could hire somebody, the first person I hired was someone that could help me with the numbers. I meet with my bookkeeper once a week, and it is so hard for me to stay focused, even for a short 30-minute meeting on the spreadsheets and the balance sheet and the P&L and the AR report. And I'm like, I just, Then, you know, probably once a month she'll
Yeah.
call me and she's like, "You need to do the money dance." And the money dance is where you have to call people and tell them they still haven't paid their bill. My least favorite thing to do.
Yeah.
I
So
like that.
if I never had to look at numbers,
Yeah.
oh man, it's just I get like a headache. I get stressed because I don't.
Hmm.
That's not my language, you know.
Hmm.
And so I hired a bookkeeper like in the first, right after the first year. And even then, it took 6 months for me to actually give her full access
Hmm.
to the books because I was just embarrassed about how much of a mess they were. And those who know me closely, to know that I even ran a business for a year and a half doing the books is amazing. We were overdrawing the account constantly because I was, you know, we had multiple accounts and I wasn't moving stuff, and it was an absolute mess. But it was the best decision I ever did to hand it over to someone who knew what they were doing. I think a lot of business owners go wrong that they try to be everything
Hmm.
and they try to be their own bookkeeper. I mean, most business owners that I've met are probably more like Nikki. They're peoples. Uh, and or they have this product that they can really sell or this thing that they're excited about, but they're not. Most of them are not bookkeepers,
Yeah.
and they try to be. And I think a lot of business owners go wrong there. And then you should also get a good CPA. Like a bookkeeper and a CPA are two different things.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
so I have a person who handles our daily transactions and keeps everything balanced. But then we have a CPA who's been doing it since the 60s, and he's been looking at numbers longer than you. And I feel like in his older age, he's like he speaks in like high frequencies because he's just been looking at them.
Yeah.
But like you ask him about something, he knows like every tax code. He has that giant book,
Yeah.
and he'll open it up like to a page. He knows exactly where to go. I'm like,
Yeah.
how do you know all that? It's like the Bible for for
They have those
math.
electronic now.
The
They
math.
actually
He
have-
don't use anything electronic. He's still figuring out the
Bookmarks.
Google. He's still figuring out the emails, but he just knows numbers. So
Yeah.
I think as a business owner, I would recommend, unless you are a numbers person, which most of you are not. If you're a visionary and you're excited about getting out there and building or making or whatever, the people, you're probably letting some things go in your books. You're missing opportunities. You're leaving money on the table. You're paying too much in taxes or not enough in some cases. So get yourself a bookkeeper and a CPA. So
Mhm.
as as your organization, you guys have been around for 90 years, celebrating this
90.
year. Absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
Do you guys offer bookkeeping services and,
Yep, absolutely.
okay,
So,
so
so I want to real quick, if you don't mind, I want to touch on
please.
what you just mentioned because that's one of my biggest points that I bring up to business owners is I don't know very many people that got into a business and were like, yes, I want to do the accounting and I want to
Yeah.
do the back. They got into it because they're passionate about what they do.
Yeah.
And that could be a manufacturer, that could be, a branding company, whatever they got in business to do, it's because they're passionate about that.
Yep.
Very rarely do I meet the business owner who says, I'm super passionate about doing the books
Right.
and taking care of those numbers and thinking about taxes.
Yeah.
So you want to find a weirdo like me that's actually passionate
That
about
gets excited when you balance everything's
Right.
balanced, and it's like yes, and
Right.
I'm like, oh,
it takes a
yeah.
special kind of mind, and that's why we do what we do. Is let us be the support system for you and take care of the things that you probably don't have a passion for. And my passion really stems from, yes, I want to make sure you're taken care of and do those things, but what other opportunities are out there for you to grow your business,
Yeah.
to save yourself money? And maybe that's not even your goal. Maybe your goal isn't to save yourself money. Maybe your goal is to be very charitable, or sell your business in a few years, So you really need to know each individual owner what they're really looking for. But yeah, I think your point you said there is one of the ones I try to drive home the most is you want to reach a point in your business where you're able to hand those things off to someone who enjoys doing what they're doing, because you don't want to do that. I'd
Yeah.
rather have you working on your business instead of inside your business looking at the books.
Well, I think I heard somebody say one time the ideal place for an owner is to spend 80% in the business, or I'm sorry, 80% on the business and 20% in the business.
Exactly. Yep.
So if I'm bookkeeping, it's the same thing with our company. If I'm doing all the social media and all the marketing and the website and doing the bookkeeping, and there's a lot of things that you have to do, then I'm not building relationships. I'm not thinking about the next 2 years of the business and how we're going to grow and how we're going to expand or how we're going to meet the needs of this client. And it really does a disservice to my business. And so even though sometimes you can, one of our former employees, he's now a pastor, he says, vision, and I'm a big vision guy, will help you determine what you could do from what you should do.
Mhm.
And I think as business owners, you're an entrepreneur, you're probably capable of a lot of things. You can probably figure out how to do the books in an okay fashion enough to pass the IRS or whatever.
Yep.
But it doesn't mean you should be doing that. And so
Right.
I just think the more time you're spending on those other things, the less time you're spending on growing your business. And so I think
Mhm.
hire a professional. I'm big on hiring experts. And again, it's the same thing for our business. Like, unfortunately, in the world you live in now, you have to be in the digital world. You have to have a
Mhm.
website. You have to have a
Mhm.
social media presence. You know, you have to make some videos. You have to have some good photography because everyone's a photo critic now. And when you try to do all that on your own, it's just taking away
Yeah.
from some of the other things. So I'm really big on, if you can afford it,
Mhm.
hire experts. In the
Yep.
case of a bookkeeper, I would say it doesn't matter if you think you can afford it. You have to do it.
Yeah.
You have to do it.
Yep.
So
Yep.
talk a little bit about your business
Yep.
itself and like what are some of the services you offer?
Yeah, yeah. So as you mentioned, we really Lewis and Knopf is a full service CPA firm. So we do everything from the bookkeeping. For the
Yep.
ground level of the bookkeeping, we'll do your tax. I also do business valuations for people that need them. We do audits, reviews. So any of your assurance type services, if a bank needs an audited financial, we also get into things like school district auditing, things like that. So we're pretty vast. I mean, we try to make sure that we're working on the things that we specialize in, but we really can handle a lot of different services. And really, we love to be able to do the bookkeeping in house because that leads to a lot of the tax planning that we're
Yeah.
able to do. And it gives you some strategies that you can do. Where if I'm just, we really don't view ourselves as just being a tax preparer. We
Yeah.
don't really just want to see you in April to, hey, here's my stuff, do my taxes.
Yeah.
Our ideal clients are ones that they've got good sized businesses, and they really need some planning on the front end to make sure
Yep.
that we're getting out ahead of things. So
Our CPA has access to our QBO,
Mhm.
and our bookkeeper meets with them once a quarter to just
Mhm.
make sure everything's on track.
Yep.
I think this would be a good place to take the conversation because my CPA, very old school, he kind of leads with the tax return. So he's going to make sure that every year I, as a business owner, pay the least amount in taxes and also potentially get a refund, which is hard. But I have 6 kids, so that helps. Um, but there are disadvantages as a business owner to taking all those write-offs because then it looks like your business isn't really worth anything. So
Mhm.
how would you recommend to a business owner to balance the not paying an arm and a leg in taxes,
Yep.
but also not hurting your business and setting it up to be, worthless essentially down the road when you want to try to sell it?
Yeah. That's a great question. So I'm huge with talking with my clients on communication. So if you don't tell me kind of what your goals are, I'm always going to assume, like your CPA does, tax mitigation,
Yeah.
minimizing our taxes every year. That's generally going to be what your strategy is.
Yeah.
But if you were to tell me, I'm getting near retirement, I'm looking at possibly selling this in the next 5 years.
Or buying a house
Yeah,
or
yeah, buying a house,
whatever.
need to
Because
show
as
a
a
little bit more income. There
yeah,
lots of reasons out there that people and it's all about that individual business owner and what their goals are. I
yeah,
can't dictate what your goals are. I really just want to be here to support whatever your goals are going to be. So having that communication, that's the biggest thing for me.
yeah.
And I try to tell them that goes both ways. I'm not a person that I just want you to call me, when it's tax season or just at the end of the year. Whenever
Yeah.
you've got a question or some life-changing event in your life, hey, maybe you got triplets on the way and things
Yeah. Oh,
need to
pray the
change.
Lord, no. Yeah.
But yeah, that communication it's got to happen, and that's what
Well,
we're
and I
big
and
on.
I think that's why, like, again, another reason to seek out a professional because, I always say like business ownership is learning as you go.
Mhm.
Like
It's a
I'm
crash
I'm
course.
always
Yeah.
learning what I did wrong, most of the time the hard way. And a mistake I learned early on, like we had sold our house when we first started the business because we needed money. We moved to a little fixer upper that we rented. Um, and when I went to buy a house after about, I don't know, man, I guess it would have been 6 or 7 years of owning a business, we said, okay, we're going to buy a house now. I found out that for a business owner, they want to see 2 years of tax returns.
Hmm.
Well, my tax returns showed that I made like 18,000 one year and 20,000 next year. And
Yeah.
they're like, we could pre-approve you for like 75 grand. I'm like, well, I can't buy much of a house
Nobody
for
wants
that.
you.
So I had to go for 2 years
Yeah.
before I could buy a house
Hmm.
and like pay in the taxes. I had to, my mortgage guy said, we really need to show like for the house you want, we need to show this much income.
Hmm.
And so I had to go through the process of 2 years of, paying a lot more in taxes to be able to show the income and it just put a huge delay on what we were trying to do. And I had no
Hmm.
idea. I
Hmm.
think a lot of people don't realize that. And so there are advantages to tax mitigation, of course. Nobody wants to pay taxes, but there are disadvantages as well from not only your business value and ability for the business to borrow, all those things, but also for your personal credit and finance. So
Mhm.
that's why I think just seek out
Absolutely.
a professional.
Absolutely.
And Lewis and Knopf is phenomenal. And obviously they've been doing it for a few minutes. So
Just a few.
and you get to
Yeah.
hang out with Nikki. So
Yep.
in some
Yep.
cases, so that's always
She
good.
looks pretty good for 90.
I
I'd
do.
say.
I know. I wouldn't say you looked a day over 85.
That's
Oh,
what I was
thank you. I'll
thinking,
take
yeah.
that.
Today's episode is brought to you by AZ Branding Agency, where we help grow your brand from A to Z. If your business is great but nobody knows it, you don't have a marketing problem, you've got a branding problem. At AZ, we help you stand out with bold branding by creating websites, social media, video, and photography that actually gets noticed. Because attention is the #1 currency in business, and your brand deserves more of it. Learn more at azeebranding.com, and let's get your brand the attention it deserves.
So what do you think? So I know we just got done with tax season for, the average person. I'm sure you're still doing. We filed for a late one ourselves here. Shocker. What's keeping you most busy right now? It's May. We just, about a month past April 15th. What's keeping you guys busy?
So I was just telling Nikki right before we got in here, but we have, it just doesn't feel like tax season stopped this year for
Yeah.
us, and that's a good thing. I mean, it's what we want. It's building our business, even after 90 years, we still have
building
goals.
it, yeah.
We're still looking to do things. The down season tends to not be as much of a down season anymore, and just some things that are out there. There's been some notices from the state of Michigan and the IRS. There's been issues this year on both of their payment processing things. They're trying to update some outdated systems, governmental. That's the kind of the way it is, but it's created some major issues for our client base. Just incorrect notices that have been sent out and little things that you just got to deal with constantly. And I think Nikki's got her hands full with planning an anniversary celebration. So
90 years.
That's
incredible.
taken my life for the
June
last
11th
6 months.
coming up.
Yes, June
Yes.
11th.
Well,
Yes.
I want to talk to Nikki for a second because, a business is not built on products and services. There are a lot of people that offer the same things you guys offer.
Mhm.
Obviously, the fact that you guys have been able to do it for 90 years speaks volumes. You don't stay in business for 90 years if you've done people wrong, if you've had a bad reputation. It just doesn't happen.
Mhm.
So 90 years all by itself is a flex. Like, it's a big flex. So you should be flexing that.
Thank
But beyond the products and services, we talk a lot here about the brand. Okay. The brand is not the logo. It's not the colors. It's not the font. The brand is the thing that builds trust.
Mhm.
It builds loyalty. It's the thing people feel when they hear your name or see your logo or come into one of your locations. It's all
the
of those
feeling.
things. It's the people they meet.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So, with something as, pardon me, boring as, CPA for me, I'm not saying it's boring for you, but like for a guy like me, there's probably a lot of people think what we do is super
Yep.
boring. So to the average person, like doing spreadsheets and math, that might seem boring. How do you build a brand that is attractive, that brings people in, that gets people excited to meet you and talk about the things you do?
Well, I think the one good thing with Lewis and Knopf is that our brand over 90 years, right? It's the human connection. We feel human, right? So we've built trust. We have the relationships. We're involved in the community. We give back. And so people trust our brand. They trust our faces. They know us,
Yeah.
right?
Important.
Joel's a big advocate. I mean, all of the partners are big advocates for us to get out in the community, and they support it 100%. They want us out there. They want us to make the relationships. They want us to be there. And so I think that is a big part of the brand, is just being ourselves, being genuine. I love the word genuinity. I know it's probably not like a real word, but it's a Nikki word.
I like it.
And so just being
One of those
genuine.
words you hear it, you know what it means, but you've never heard it
Genuinity,
before.
yes.
Yeah.
I looked it up and it said it's not real, but
Okay.
I don't
You
agree.
should add it to Wikipedia. Or something.
Exactly. Yes. No, but I just feel like being authentic, being genuine, being involved, like that right there is Lewis and Knopf's brand.
Awesome.
It's not just about the bookwork. It's not just about the audits. It's not just about that. It's creating the connections. It's making the relationships. We are an industry that has been based for a very long time on word of mouth and just people saying, yeah, I work with them. I like them. They do really great work for me.
Yeah.
And I mean, it shows in all of the partners that are there that hold our fort down. They're all amazing humans.
Yeah.
And they all bring their own strengths to the table. And it just makes us very unique.
Well, and I think that what you're saying in terms of building that trust and loyalty is important. But I think particularly in a business like yours, where trust is everything, and that's what builds the loyalty. My CPA, who I was talking about, he owned his own firm. He sold it to AHP, which I'm sure you guys are familiar with,
Yep.
and then he ended up leaving them, just, I won't get into why, but I left AHP and went to his new place
Yeah.
because I was loyal to him, because of the service he provided, the trust that he built, him always having my best interest, my back. And so, Joel, what would you add to what Nikki said about building that brand and that trust and that loyalty?
Yeah. Yeah. I was going to say too, I mean, I think you can't fake your brand, in my opinion.
No.
I mean, I think it comes from who you are. And for a firm our size, we're not huge, but we're also not small. But our tone at the top for 90 years has always been to be true to ourselves. And that brand, that's what comes through. I think you could try to fake your brand and maybe get away with it for a little while, but then who you really are comes out.
100%.
And I kind of think that's kind of where we have been. And luckily, obviously I haven't been around for the 90 years, but I've been around for a good 20 years of it.
Yeah.
And to have that tone at the top when I first was starting my career out, to say, okay, here's how we operate and here's what we do, that does differentiate us.
Yeah.
And it's not something that we need to throw in someone's face. They'll see that over time, who you are, that kind of comes through. So I think to me, that's one of our biggest things. And it's for us, it's people focus. It's me seeing Nikki at an event and saying, that's just a good person that would be great in our team. And almost like, if we don't have a spot, let's create a spot.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of times old school mentality in the CPA profession is it's dollars and cents. And it's, does it make sense, for us to have a culture committee in our office that works on what events are we going to do to help the community?
Yeah.
Well, an old school mindset might say that's not good time spent. We need to be spending time working on our clients, and that's it. And really, now, I don't know if that's a shift in the world in general, but definitely in our industry, I think that differentiates us, that's what we need to be doing.
I think
It's
it is
important.
because in the world we live in, here at AZ, I think there's a renaissance happening of a desire for real, authentic, and human interaction. I think in the world of the social media influencer, that everyone's on there with the fake look and the fake, the teleprompted video and the perfect lighting, and then now into the world of AI, where everything is fake and you can't differentiate real from, and then in the world of access to information at a fingertip, but a lot of it is misinformation and people don't know what is real and what's not. I think particularly with the younger generation, my kids, as they're into their 20s and getting older, like they already have AI fatigue. They already, they're tired of the fake social media influencer. They want real. And so I think having a brand that you're going to talk to real people and you're going to get real solutions. You're going to meet them at events and you're going to see them out in the community, and they're going to show up. With our last guest, Will Stuyvesant, who you guys know, we were talking about that, about showing up. Businesses, if you just have your location and a sign, but nobody knows anything about you, don't put yourself out there in the world of social media, or put yourself out there at events and being a part of the community that you're serving. If you're not trying to serve the community, if you're just trying to collect dollars, then people will see through that and they'll go on to someone else. Because like I said, there is a generation that want just the convenience, do everything from an app. I don't want to talk to a person and get it done, or do their own taxes online. I think people now are starting to get to this place where they're like, I want to talk to a real person. And so I think,
can I jump in real quick too? I think another part that's important is the people that you do work with. So in general, we may have a certain type of client, certain type of business maybe that we like to work with, but beyond that, look at who the business owner is personally. What are they involved in? What do they do?
Yeah.
Because generally, if I have an a-hole client, I may want to get rid of that client, because if he refers anyone else, generally they're probably the same type of person that he is,
Absolutely.
But if I continue to build my business working with people that I enjoy working with, I know that they're good people and see things through. I know that they know other people that are similar.
That's a great point.
I think that's huge when you're building your brand.
Absolutely. Well, I have a fun question for both of you. I think your answers will both be very different. And we'll let you go first, Joel. What is your favorite part about your job?
Ooh, man, I got a lot of favorite parts. I really do. I mean, honestly, it almost depends.
None of what Joel does.
It depends.
That's my answer.
Yeah, that's her answer. It depends when you get me.
Yeah.
No, but my favorite part has to be helping it can be any level of business owner, any level of stage of their career, but helping them achieve what their next goal is.
Yeah.
And the reason that I love that is because that's what makes my job not boring.
Yeah.
Because I do think if people think of accountant, they think, wow, you're doing the same thing every day. And and I do see where that could be boring, but that's why I like public accounting, and I
Yeah.
like working with businesses and different business owners, because I have vast different types
Yeah.
of businesses. But then even
New
inside,
challenges, yeah.
yeah, even inside one industry though, 2 or 3 different business owners have different goals in mind.
Yeah.
So my strategy is always a little bit different, you know.
And I'm sure you come across the gamut of business owner who some of them are right on the ball, keep all their receipts and everything's like, and then you have the guy like me who's like, I don't really know where anything is. I didn't keep any receipts. I don't know. Ask Christy, she's the bookkeeper, like, and then you got to try to like make it all work.
Oh yeah.
Like my CPA does some forensic,
Some digging.
some surgical work to get me to that ideal number that he wants to get me at every year.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
what about you,
My
Nikki? Favorite part?
My favorite part of my job, I feel like I wear a couple different hats inside the firm. And so my favorite part is just the people. So it's the morale. It's the intentional morale, right? So it's creating fun Fridays. It's creating positivity. It's bringing people together, whether I'm inside the walls or I'm outside the walls at events. It's seeing people
You're in
happy.
Owasso or in Flushing.
Or Fenton or Grand Blanc or wherever I might be that
Wherever
day.
you're supposed to be that
yes,
day.
or whether I end up.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's creating the positivity. It's creating the relationships. It's being able to walk into a room and see people that I see as friends.
Yeah.
We might have only met twice.
Yeah.
But you were my friend.
I
And
love that.
I see that in you. And so that's what brings me joy every day, is knowing my day's different. I'm going to see all my friends.
Yeah.
I'm going to be able to promote something great, and I'm going to make sure that they're taken care of on the things when they do need me.
I love
You know,
that.
that's something that I really enjoy.
I love that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, one of the things we talk about here a lot as a branding agency, and our viewers probably get tired of hearing me say this, but I like to talk about this with each guest, is I say the number one currency in any business or brand is attention.
Mm-hmm.
You can have great products, great service, even great people, but if nobody knows you exist, then
Yep.
you don't have a business, you have a hobby. And so we're all trying to do things to get attention. We're doing a podcast today to bring some attention, not necessarily to ourselves, but to our business or to our clients. We throw up a billboard or make a social media post or TV commercial, whatever. What do you guys are finding are the best ways to get attention for Lewis and Knopf?
Well, I mean, our social media that we've done has gained a lot of traction. I feel like it's the social media side of it isn't so much posting about like what we're doing in our day to day. That's not really our intention. Our intention is for you to see us internally,
Yes.
so that you connect with us. You feel that we're human.
Mhm.
You see that we're just doing what we're doing every day, just like you, but we're doing things differently.
Yeah.
And so that would be, I guess, my
Love that
Yeah.
answer.
yeah.
Yeah, and I kind of think, that you say to get attention, and I kind of, for me, being a partner in the firm, I don't just think about bringing in new business.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about, in our, where we're at, Genesee County, to attract good talent to our firm and
Yes.
have good employees. That's another aspect of what we're trying to do. And Nikki touched on it real quickly, but we do what are called Fun Fridays during tax season. So we take some time out of the day to do a little activity together, team building, but it's also fun. I mean, if you're working a 12 or more hour day and you just need a little break,
Just breaks the tension.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And some
You know?
camaraderie with your other teammates. We'll have a girl come in and does massage for 15 minutes for each of the employees one day of the week. And, so to me, that helps us with getting attention and some traction with our talent and recruiting and things like that. And again, it's still people focused. I think everything Nikki said is right. You can't, we want you to get the attention of you based on what we are doing ourselves.
Yes.
And really
They
genuine,
have to know you.
genuine. Yeah.
Well, and again, I think that's where a lot of business owners go wrong, is they spend so much time, on the, whether it be on their social media or they take a TV commercial, and it's all about like everything that you do. And it's not that you don't want to educate people. Like we use our social media to educate, but if you were to look at the last 100 posts on AZ's pages, I bet you less than 10% would be what we do.
Yeah.
And, we're trying to get first of all, in the endless doom scroll. And I'm glad you guys said social media, because we believe right now in 2026, the best place, the most affordable place to get attention is through social media. Like if you're a business owner, you're not actively posting on social media regularly, you are missing opportunity. You're leaving money on the table. And if you want to asking, what should I post? It's not, like I said, just what we do. It's who you are as people. It's the fun culture. We have so many people. We put out an ad for Help Wanted, and we had so many applicants that want to work here because they think we just have fun all day. And we do have fun, but there's a lot of times we're just grinding out work and it's not that much
Yep.
fun.
Yeah.
But we're showing people that, and then we have clients that reach out because they want to work with us because we look like we're fun and we're real people. And so in the endless doom scroll, we want to just create a post that will stop somebody
Yeah.
just for a second.
Yep.
If we can get them to stop and look at that, what's that, or what's this? Why are they doing this crazy video, or what is this picture?
Again, it's the brand, it's the feeling, it's the
yeah.
connection. It invokes something from you, right?
Exactly.
And that's what it reminds them. It puts that seed.
Yeah. So if you can just grab someone's attention for a second,
Mhm.
get them to look. You know, we've done a lot of billboard design, and some people just like they have a billboard that has 6 paragraphs on it. Like no one's gonna read that. Like do a billboard that's gonna make someone double take. Look, what was that all about?
Yeah.
And so sometimes you have to think outside of the box and put yourself out there. But you gotta find ways to get attention. We're all vying for it. There's so many different places out there that are offering what you're offering. How do you stand out? How do you grab that attention from people? And so I think an attention strategy is way better than a marketing strategy. Like find ways to grab people's attention even for a second. And then if you can get their attention, you might have the opportunity to talk to them, build a relationship, have a conversation.
Yep.
If you're always just sell,
Yeah.
then people are going to move on.
Well, and I think that's part of my approach too when I'm at networkings and things like that. I'm coming on behalf of Lewis and Knopf, right? But I'm not there to sell you services.
Yeah.
I'm there to make friends. I'm there to make that connection. I always say in the office, I'm the bridge. So I'm the one that's going out, and Joel does too. He's in all of the chambers as well. But it's like we are out there not to sell you a service. We're there to make that connection, to make that relationship,
Huge.
to build that bridge. So that way, when you do need us, or you have somebody that does need us, or you're just interested and you have questions, you have somebody to come to, and you can
Absolutely.
trust that I can get you in the right hands.
Love it.
Yeah, I very rarely want to have that conversation about what we do specifically and how we can help you specifically until I've probably met you a couple times. You know, then it's a little more natural. First, I want to just get to know you, but I love that attention strategy. That's cool, better than marketing strategy.
No, I think that's, and I think again, like this is where we try to push our clients to just get a little outside of your comfort zone. You know, some people want to be very strict and very professional and rigid, and we're always going to try to push them to the edge of their comfortability, not to be, you know, not taken seriously or not to be crazy, but again, just to show a lighter side of what you do. You know, especially certain professions, they are very serious by nature, and showing a little lighter side of what you do always is a help. And so a lot of times people will create a social media post that maybe is so beautifully designed that it could win a design award.
Yeah.
But people scroll right past it because it's not that, you know, or a picture that is perfectly lit and it has all the right filters, but it's just like every other photo. Like we work with a couple car dealerships. Well, we're not going to compete with the photos that General Motors provides them or Cadillac provides them, whatever. Like they're hiring photographers to pay millions of dollars to come get the perfect photo of that car. So we're like, how do we take photos at the dealership that look different from a weird angle or from, you know, got the sun coming? Like we just always trying to find ways, like just as someone's scrolling, oh, that's different.
Yeah.
So when you sit down and you're trying to make a social media post, don't ask yourself, does this look right only? It should look right and it should be designed well and it should represent your brand, but ask yourself, is this going to grab someone's attention? And that will change everything. That will
We're
change
at
everything.
a major disadvantage when you're talking about tax law and accounting.
Yeah.
People don't,
We don't
that's
have
not
the most
grabbing
fun
anybody's
information,
attention.
yeah.
So,
Exactly.
But-
And at the end of the day, like it's not necessarily what most people care about. It's they care about the people they're going to be doing this with, and is it going to be an enjoyable experience? Am I going to want to rip my hair out at the end of it? You know?
Well, and I think that's kind of our take too on a lot. It's in all of it. It's we don't necessarily have the most fun work that everybody wants to be like, yeah, I relate to that. Yeah, that's really cool. So instead, it's more of an approach of this. These are the people that are doing those hard things for
Absolutely.
you. You know, you're investing all of your. I mean, you could have decided to open a business for the first time and you have nothing in your bank account and this is a Hail Mary and you're like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do. Who do I trust with this investment?
Yeah.
You know, and so for us, it's a lot more about being out in the community, knowing that you can trust us, knowing that we're faces and personalities, that we've got your back.
And then I think too, like knowing who you're trying to talk to, like you said, like a new business owner. So if you know you're looking for new business owners, so don't make content that's trying to appeal to everyone. Talk to the new business owner.
Yep.
And you know, I would rather a post get 100 views to 100 people that I could do business with than a million views of people who would never be a client. Right?
Exactly.
You know? And so people get lost in the like the virality, the numbers. They want to be an influencer or whatever. And there's really more value, in my opinion, as a business owner, to reach the people I want to do business
Yeah.
with. And that's the other part about showing who you are as people, because it also it attracts good employees, but also attracts the types of clients you want to work with.
Exactly.
If someone will look at one of our videos and be like, they're too goofy, I don't want to work with them, I can guarantee you we're not going to work well together.
Right.
So if they go somewhere else, that's fine. Like,
Yeah.
and they might pay a lot of money, but it's like at the end of the day, there's no amount of money that's worth a miserable
No.
client.
Yeah.
It's
You
got to
know,
be a
and
good
so-
fit both ways.
Yeah. That's
So
such-
it's got to
such a-
be a
such
balance.
key.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
got to
such
be a
key.
balance. Okay, so this is for Joel. What's something that people think is, how do I want to say this? I want to make sure something that people think is easy, but actually isn't that easy in the world of tax and CPA.
Goodness.
Something that people just like,
Grilling
oh,
ya.
I could do that.
You hit me with a tough one there.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure in your world, there's a lot of things people are like, oh, I could do that myself, but there's more to it than people realize.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, that's a tough question. But the first thing that comes to mind, especially for a new business owner, I think established business is a little different, but a new business owner kind of thinks, hey, QuickBooks Online, QBO, and AI, I can do a lot of my bookkeeping myself. There's really, maybe I don't have that many transactions. I can go ahead and do this and I'll be fine. Well, you probably aren't fine from the very beginning. And then when we're 15 months after the fact of when you started, and then you're talking to somebody like us and saying, oh, it should be easy. Just not, go back and clean that up. Well,
A few journal entries will be fine.
yeah, a few journal entries, just put it all in, reconcile it. It'll be good.
Yeah.
It's tougher than people probably think.
It's not like balancing a checkbook.
And and like you mentioned earlier, the bookkeeping, having somebody that knows what they're doing help you from the very start is
100%.
probably one of the best decisions you can make. Now, you may be getting charged $1, but it's going to save you in the time and the stress that you're going to have.
100%.
And then, I mean, you come to me after that, it's probably going to cost you more for me to go back and clean it up. So,
100%.
so I think that's probably the first thing that jumps to my mind.
Okay, so that's a good answer, by the way. That's a good answer. That's
I was
probably
struggling.
He was
No,
struggling.
that's something I would have
Struggle
probably.
bus.
That's probably right where I would have went because I think a lot of people think like I could just balance my own books or I can keep my own books, and there are a whole lot more. There is a whole lot more to it, especially for a business than people realize.
Yep.
And having someone who knows it, also like with my bookkeeper, like she's keeping up with laws that are changing and the new PTO requirements that has to be factored into and tracking, all those things. There's so much to it.
Well, I think it's partially insurance too on your end. I mean, you're covering yourself for, like you said, laws are always changing. In the last 2 seasons, tax seasons, we've had so many changes that have come by in the laws and the way that they need to do things, that if you're not up to date on those things or you're not keeping track of them, you could file it wrong and then that'll penalize you later.
Yes,
Right?
absolutely.
And
Yep.
so it's investing in ensuring that the people that do this for a living, you're covered.
And I'll be honest, I do worry about, again, not that we're the biggest firm, but I wonder how some of these small CPAs can kind of keep up on all the new tax laws and changes that are out there, because they've just made it more and more complicated. And that's why I do love that, the fact I have 4 other partners that I can, hey, if I'm not quickly understanding something, I can run it by them and get feedback, because I do wonder how some people are able to even manage it at a small
I
firm.
think where a lot of people go wrong, and maybe it's just because they don't even realize there's help out there, but people try to do it alone. Like starting a business and running a successful business. Number one, I would say it's statistically almost impossible to make money running a small business because 80% of them fail right off the bat in the first 2 years. And then the ones that are holding on, sometimes they're holding on a very week to week, like we're going to just make this, we're going to try to get enough cash flow to make this thing work. But, and then there are some that cross over and they're like bringing up the average because they're, they figured something out or they stuck with it long enough to make it really work. But, I think it's so important to not go at it alone.
Yeah.
That you should seek professional help. Sometimes mentally, seek a professional in certain areas, particularly when it comes to anything involving the taxes and the government, because you can really make not just some stupid mistakes that were like, oh, that cost me some money, but like some detrimental mistakes that could put you in a lot of trouble.
Exactly.
Inadvertently, not even realize you were supposed to be paying this certain thing or this tax bill or whatever. And so I think it's just important, and it's something I've had to learn the hard way of just, doing some things wrong and saying,
Well,
okay,
and
I'm going to work with a professional on
Well, and
this.
it's like payroll too. I mean, people don't understand, you start a small business and maybe you and your mom are working, doing something, but then once you have to really start bringing people
Yeah.
in and start paying them,
You just
that's
write
a
them a
whole
check.
nother ballpark.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there's
Mhm.
so many things that you just don't even understand. And I'm speaking from experience
Yeah.
because my mom opened a small business about 12 years ago. And when she finally got to the point where she was like, I need to take on people to work, I can't do this myself, it's gotten too big. She had no clue what
Yeah.
she was facing.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, I appreciate you guys sharing all that stuff. This has been very good. I think it's going to be very informative to a lot of our viewers. We're going to kind of transition into. I want to get some kind of quick answers on this one. I got a couple questions just about business in general, things that you've learned, advice you would have, and then we're going to wrap up with a segment we call "Say It in 60." So you're going to have to determine who you want to do the "Say It in 60." But we're going to ask 10 rapid fire questions. So this one will be for Joel. Joel, what's the best business advice you've ever received?
Ooh, best business advice. Probably talked about it quite a bit here, but I think being people focused. Really, again, it goes for more than just recruiting and things like that, but for your client base,
Yeah.
the working with the people that you enjoy working with,
Yeah.
because that gets out there and that is then attracts more people that you enjoy working with.
Products and services don't build a business, people build a business.
Correct.
All right, Nikki, what is the biggest branding mistakes that businesses make?
Ooh. The biggest, well, like I said, branding to me is you get a feeling, right? So in this instance, for me, the branding mistakes that they would make is just to, I guess, not be people focused and not to give a good impression, to
Yeah.
be going to these things with malintent.
Yeah.
Going in and saying, hi, I'm Nikki, I want you to buy my services.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Instead of, hi, I'm Nikki, how can I help you?
Well, and some people think that's what they're supposed to do.
Yeah.
They don't even know. Yeah.
They're going out to pitch, but it's one of those things where it's like, you can't just go out to pitch.
Mhm.
It's like you're going out to try to sell a service and nobody knows who you are. They're going to go to somebody they feel like they can trust.
Mhm.
And so I think that's one of the biggest mistakes is that people go out
Yeah.
not fully prepared to be themselves. They're not
Good.
genuine.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Another question for Nikki. One thing every business should do better on social media.
Better on social media. Relatability, I think, might be one. Putting out just relatable content, putting out something that, or even content for educational purposes. Maybe it's not directly reflected into your business, but something that might help them internally as well. That is probably what I would say.
Okay. And Joel, last one for you. If you could tell a business owner one thing they should do every day, what would that be?
I think you got to spend a little time focusing on what your why is,
Yeah.
why you do what you do. And maybe that's first thing in the morning, or maybe it's at the end of the day, recapping what you've done and maybe a strategy for the next day. But, why did I get into this? Make sure you're staying true to who you are and true to your roots. And,
100%.
Yep.
Remember, you see when you walk in, I have a giant canvas that says, remember why you started. That's for me, because I think sometimes you're a visionary. You have a new business idea every 27 minutes. And, go back to that vision, like, separate what you could do from what you should do. I think it's important to remember, like, why you started what you did and how to stay on track and how to stay focused. It doesn't mean things can't change or different opportunities don't come, but it's very easy to get distracted. And I'm really big on the today list. A lot of people like the to-do list, which I have a big one, but every day I try to make a today list. Like, what am I going to do before I leave today? Like, and then when I'm done this, that's okay to leave then.
Yeah.
Especially when you make your own schedule, you have to kind of figure that out. So, okay. So before we go to Say It in 60, one of you or both of you, I want you to look into your camera and I want you to tell people how they can connect with you, with Lewis and Knopf. I almost said Knopf. Lewis and Knopf. How they can connect with you, whether it be social media, websites, whatever. Go ahead and plug away.
Well, we have a new website. So our website is now lkcpas.com. You can find us on there. We do have a tab of all of our teams, so you can get a deep dive into everybody that we have working for the company. We have a Facebook page. We also have a LinkedIn page and an Instagram. So you can find us at LKCPAs or Lewis and Knopf. And then also you can call our office. Our office's phone number is 810-238-4617. And we're located at 5206 Gateway Center in Flint.
Wow, that was great. Good job.
She got it
You got
all.
anything you want to add to that? Good.
Or you
got
can
it
see
all.
us at our chamber networking events, or
Yeah.
you can come see me.
We'll be around. Yeah.
Well, I might be seeing a lot more of you in the next, in June and July, because I'll be over in right in your neighborhood quite a bit. So, all right. Well, who wants to do Say It in 60?
I'll do it.
We'll let-
Oh, he's
Okay.
already like,
We'll
go
let Nikki
for
take
it.
it over.
So we're going to ask you 10 rapid fire questions. You
Okay.
have 60 seconds to answer. So they have to be quick answers.
I'm ready.
we
Will-
buzz if she's wrong.
No, you're not
It's
allowed.
her answer, so there's no wrong answers. You know, it might be a bad answer, but it doesn't mean it's wrong.
I'm buzzing it.
What was Will? 33 seconds? He did it in 33
Aw,
seconds.
why you gotta tell me what
But I
Will
think their
did?
record
Okay.
is 29. So
Okay.
someone was cooking. I think we're gotten so far into the season, people are like, they're watching it ahead and getting the questions, and so they have answers. You know,
They're
first-
cheating.
the first few guests didn't even know, so they're like coming in blind. You know, so okay, are you ready?
I think so.
Morgan, you got a timer ready? All right, Nikki, the
Okay.
timer starts now. Favorite hobby?
Softball.
Favorite place you've ever been?
Garden of the Gods, Colorado.
Favorite food?
Spaghetti.
A must-read book?
Anything Agatha Christie.
Favorite podcast?
I want to say Behind the Brand, but I really love Mr. Ballin.
It's a good one. A daily habit everyone should practice.
Intentional Kindness.
A TV series worth binge watching.
Schitt's Creek.
In your opinion, what will help your brand grow more? High-quality photography or high-quality video?
Video.
A great website or a great social media presence?
Social media.
What does success mean to you?
Happiness. I think it's happiness and balance
Happiness
is what
and balance.
success is for me. Yeah.
What do we do? 38 seconds.
Dang
That's
it,
still
Will
enough.
beat
Good.
me.
That's still
That's
really
good.
good.
That's okay.
That's
I
still
had
really
longer
good.
answers. I
That
bet
was
he was
good.
just
You
like
beat Lee
rapid fire.
LaForest. She was 39 seconds.
I'm
So
gonna
you beat
pull-
Lee. She had the record at one point, but
Oh,
She
I'll
did
tell her
good.
I'll wear the crown on
It was
that
good.
one.
I think you did better than I would have.
Oh,
I think
thank
I
you.
would have been a little stunned on
Over
a couple
60
of them.
seconds.
Yeah, the good
Yeah.
book, the book one. Oof.
Anything
it's so
Agatha
funny.
Christie.
Like
Not a book
Morgan
guy.
interviewed me for a podcast,
Yeah.
and I asked those questions every week, and I didn't even get them all out in 60 seconds. I couldn't think. I'm like, I should have known these, but
It was like a like a
Sometimes-
buffer mode.
yeah, you
were
never
like,
think of it until you have to answer it. So,
Yeah.
well, any final words that you guys got? Anything you want to say to the people before we go?
Well, I'm just happy to be here. I think what you're doing is great, Tony.
Thank you.
Honestly, when you talked about it at one of the networkings, I'm like, this is great. And it's exactly what everybody needs. You know, I think that it's just a reminder, but it's also really great for connection. And I'm very grateful that you asked us to be here.
I appreciate you guys being here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm grateful. I mean, I thank you for doing it. I hadn't met Tony before,
Yeah.
but I trust
We're
Nikki.
friends
and-
now.
Yeah, exactly. Now we're friends.
Forever
Maybe
friends.
More than everybody.
Next
Well-
time you see him, you got to give him a hug.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah. Hey, man, always bring it in for a hug.
I'm a hugger.
I'm always
I am.
ready. Yeah. Well, I appreciate you guys being here, and we've enjoyed doing the podcast, and we hope it's a benefit to you guys. We hope we introduce you to some new people. And like I said, this will go out in a couple weeks, and if you guys want to use the clips, whatever you want to do to promote it, it's all yours. And hope it's a blessing to you guys and what you do. And if you guys ever need any help with your branding or marketing, just let us know. We're happy to do that. So
I know how to call you.
Perfect.
you know how to call me. Yes, absolutely. And where we're at now. We're
I
not in
do.
Flushing. We're in Owasso. There's a
I
whole
don't
funny
even
story.
want-
Nikki ended
I
up
really
in
think we
Flushing this
should-
morning, which is like
Oh.
30 minutes from Owasso. But yeah.
I
But hey,
really found a really pretty bridge, though, that we
Yeah.
could go have lunch.
Yes.
Okay. I'm down for that. So.
Stuck on this stinking bridge.
Well, thank you guys again. And thank you all for watching. As my mother always said, you can't and never could until you tried. So go out there and try something great, my friends. And don't take the easy way out. We'll see you next time.
Make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss an episode. We want to connect with you. Drop a comment, share your thoughts, and let us know what guests you want us to have on the podcast. Follow us on social media for more branding insights, and thanks for watching Behind the Brand.